this is here at Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Do you have a beard on your face? It can be an interesting thing because all the hairs on you grow. So many things growing on your face. It can be distracting, make you wander all over the place with your song. It's episode 2715, 2715.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
There's a 15 going on there. And I'm Mike, and you know, here at Café Anyway, we sometimes
Mike's
get a little bit
Daily
rushed with things.
Podcast.
But I wanted to jump in immediately into this podcast today and tell you that, let's see, Black Friday, that's over with. But, and I went online, I couldn't find anything I wanted to buy. I was just gonna, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to have, no. I was not enticed as much. Perhaps you had a better experience. The term Black Friday derives from the concept, it does not derive from the concept that businesses operate at a loss and are in the red until the day after Thanksgiving puts them in the black. In the 1960s, police officers in Philadelphia began using the phrase Black Friday to describe the chaos when large numbers of suburbans came into the city to begin their holiday shopping. That's what it says here. For consumers, Black Friday means one thing: incredible discounts. Americans tend to save 24% on average with Black Friday deals. This year, retailers like Macy's and JCPenney were offering 60% off, but I've never been that excited about their clothes. But there you go. Oh, my mom used to drag me to JCPenney's as a kid. That number may seem high, but...
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's relatively easy for a big chain retailer to pull off, especially if it means high consumer spending overall. Smaller businesses have smaller profit margins at stake as they vie for customer attention, and they can't compete with the big retailer discounts. So the podcast picture is of the beautiful Bodega Bay that I went to with my lovely lady friend a week ago. The late great Basil the Boxer and I went there 3 times, and this is a fine picture showing you it wasn't exactly a sunny day, but we got a picture there of the harbor, and it's nice to visit once in a while. See it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Did you know Disney used to own the Thanksgiving box office?
Which is a very good thing.
Disney posted its biggest year ever theatrically in 2019. They had 7 films surpassing $1 billion that year.
Which is a very, very good thing.
Their animation arm, which has ruled the box office for decades, has more rotten eggs than golden ones in the last 3 years. The stinkers included Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Onward, and Elemental. And for this week, they're wishing on a shooting star with Wish. It could, as of this recording, they're saying 55 million. The recent The Marvels opened to an all-time franchise low.
Blood and Loco.
Now, Wish, however, has inspired critics, so we'll see what happens. The whole Marvel thing is going south, everybody. Here's the deal.
News random.
And I somebody very adeptly with the website, I'm saying actually the YouTube channel, not the website, but I guess YouTube is a website as well. But the YouTube channel, Nerdstalgic, they were discussing how those post-credit end scenes, that we used to wait for when we were watching those superhero movies. Oh, yeah. You sit through the credits, and at the end, there's like 5 minutes of something that will tease what's going to happen in the next movie.
Wow.
They were always very...
Matthew's News.
Full of themselves.
Mike's absolutely useless review.
Let's be huge and great and throw our humongous ego around, which there's basically now, those things to begin with were stupid. There was really nothing behind them. And one of the earliest times that there was a movie that ended with
Mike's Daily Podcast Master Pod Theater.
It was a Dean Martin movie when he was playing a detective back in like the 60s. He was doing a spoof of James Bond, and that teased the movie that ended up bombing and disappeared from all the history of films, except for those who are huge avid film fans. But if you see most of what this Nerdstalgic channel was talking about was most of the post-credit scenes that they do, the 5-minute teases for something else. They tease something that never ever materializes. And one of the examples it gave was, I think at the end of Justice League, or maybe it was Man of Steel.
The Myclopedia Insantica.
There's what's his name? Eisenberg, is it Jason Eisenberg? The guy that played Lex Luthor. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he's sitting on a yacht, and Deathstroke shows up, and there's this big tease of, we're going to assemble a league of villains. I guess it's like the Sinister Six or Seven or something to that effect. That never happened. They never made that movie. So many of the things, and then I was thinking of one of the Guardians of the Galaxies ended with not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Sylvester Stallone walking in, playing some new character or some comic book character from the Marvel books.
The Mike Tip.
I never saw that come to fruition. So basically, these end of credit movie things never come to fruition, or very seldom do. So that, and among other things, many people are getting sick of these superhero movies. And then everywhere you look, there are people trying to rip off Marvel and DC. And those are the biggest ones, Marvel and DC. That game I was playing, I was telling you about, the charades game. One of the cards that was pulled that we had to act out so that the guesser on the team could figure it out was Spider-Man. And it was really easy to do Spider-Man. You just do the thing where you're activating the webs with your hand. You bring back it's not the ring finger, is it yeah, maybe it is the ring finger. And you touch it to the bottom of your palm, and you go zoop, and that's your web you're shooting out. And they instantly knew what it was. Let's go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. The last place on Earth. Of course, Superman is iconic.
What's the cliche of the week? What's the cliche of the week? What's the cliche of the week? What's the cliche of the week?
Netflix had their own. And people just are, it's saturation, oversaturation. And people are done. As am I with my little rant. And that's my little analysis as to why the Marvels did not do well.
What's the cliche of the week? What's the cliche of the week? What's the cliche of the week? What's the cliche of the week?
Childless couples in the U.S., they apparently are called dinks, and they could hit 50%. Right now it's at 43%. Dual income, no kids. That's right. I didn't look that up. I wasn't about to look that up. I didn't want to see what was going to happen on my computer outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton. Butterball accounts for about 1 in 3 turkeys served at Thanksgiving celebrations. If you did, you probably had one a few days back. But if you did not, it is true that 20%, that's a huge amount of Americans, are alone on Thanksgiving. So if you were as well, and I have been there too, don't feel bad, don't beat yourself up. And for the rest of us, we need to invite more people over is what the deal is. People should not be alone on Thanksgiving. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. We're never alone. Look who's here.
The Newsbleed section. Ridiculous random posts.
Mike, it's Mikey Fikey. Great.
Mike's scavenger hunt.
Hello, Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the supervisor. What's going on, Mike Matthews? What did you just say? I don't understand. It was really cryptic.
Nothing.
Mike Matthews, I made a snow globe. Then since Thanksgiving is over with, I'm making Christmas snow globes like normal snow globes now. So it's like really boring, Mike Matthews.
Oh, okay. Yes, you had those really clever, creative turkey ones with the mashed potatoes floating around inside. So I guess they weren't really snow globes as much as mashed potatoes globes.
That's right, Mike Matthews.
So cryptic. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, I hope you get everything fixed. Apparently, you're having some issues. I am. So I need to wrap up the show soon. One of the issues I've been having, and I'm going to wrap it up right after we do Let's Go Back with Matthews.
Let's go back with Matthews.
Everybody make some noise! Woo! Bringing to you live from Podcaster Valleymont, Mike's Daily Podcast.
I will not be able to find cassette players to listen to these at some point. I want to record them digitally. Well, Amazon has something.
Mike ripped someone a new one.
Now it doesn't work. Why don't you just tell them in a review on the Amazon website under the thing that you purchased, Mike? Well, I tried and it wouldn't let me. It gave some weird... You don't have... Oh, I think the people didn't have an account. Said something to do with the account of the people that I bought the thing from. They were blocking it, if that's a thing. Well, it turns out it does a skippy thing. And I've been talking about this for weeks, that it skips. And you've probably been going, Mike, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm going to now give you a little sneak peek on the Let's Go Back with Matthews.
Hawaii 5-0 theme. Even now, I still...
Bottom of the chart.
Pretty good songs that never made it on the radio because people didn't think they were worth it. But you know what? They come back up and people start playing them, and it's like, oh, where'd that come from?
This was a radio station called Y97, and it was in Santa Barbara. And I played these sound effects on the air, and it was really a top 40 station. Phantom of the Opera. This got me into trouble. After I did this, I stopped getting shifts at the shows.
Too early to be Monday morning show.
I called my show the Much Too Early to Be Monday Morning Show because it was Sunday nights. Color me back.
Music 197, good morning, whatever the hell it is. It's a finals hell morning. My name's Mike Matthews. It's the Much Too Early to Be morning show. And if you're studying for a final right now, well, good luck, darn it. Here's some EMF way. Unbelievable.
EMF. Yeah, it sucks that it skips. I don't get it. And I'm going to probably have to go back and redo all of these.
It's pretty interesting.
But here was another one from my KHA days.
100.7 KHA, 10 in a row, continuous new country. That is George Stritland from Pure Country. Smeggles here, and we're taking care of requests on the Saturday Night Fest. We have about 10 minutes left, and then it's the American Country Countdown. Winsley, who is going to count down the top 100 songs. 1993. This is going to take us 7 hours, so leave us on. I'll be having a lot of fun. In just a moment, we'll take a request going out to Melissa from her husband, wanting to hear some Chris Brooks. After this on 100.7 KHA.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of that, didn't you? Something about Melissa and that.
Oh, yeah.
She was dedicating a song to him. All right, one more here.
Was arrested on Sunday evening. 46-year-old Gerald Gordon was booked on suspicion of robbery and grand theft.
Oh, I used to do the news.
This
was on a station in Thousand Oaks called KNJO.
Taking a look at the weather, looks like clouds late tonight with lows in the 60s. We'll have morning clouds burning off to mostly clear with high 80s. I'm Mike Matthews. This is Going Out the Notes.
This nightmare of a show.
Yeah. It was a mellow music station. Oh, wow. Dream Academy. Oh, whatever happened to Dream Academy? That was founded by David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, interestingly enough. I'm going to get dinged by YouTube if I keep playing it.
Taking a look at 92.7 FM weather at a couple minutes 11 o'clock. Looks like we'll have low clouds late tonight with in the 60s. Tomorrow we'll have morning clouds burning off clear with highs in the 80s.
Oh, that was some Amy Grant, I think. Or Rod Stewart. They both had songs that sounded similar to that. Is it Bring Over Your Old Motown Records, maybe, was what that was. And that was all from 30 years ago. Wow, from the early 90s. Some of the Thousand Oaks radio station, KNJO, K-Hay in Ventura, the country station, and 197 in Santa Barbara. Oh, I'd love to. I'll try my best to get clean copies of that. I have a workaround to try and make those sound less skippy. But right now they are skippy and not like the delicious peanut butter. But if you would like to chime in, like a wind chime, like a chime of the bells at the church, or whatever chimes you hear inside your head all the time. What, you don't have that? Oh, well, here's how to call me.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640. Will you shut ups? Liberty Nation Freedom Foam for All.
And with more ways to reach me, here is A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!